few weeks ago when Bill Gates was like, it's going to be really unfortunate if people don't take the vaccine because they think illy of me.
I'm just gonna tell you that.
That's too much of a fucking coincidence.
Do you believe in coincidence?
That's too much, bro. Because you're racist.
Against Alabamans.
I don't like him Alabama people. God damn it.
I also have a weird genetic condition where my dick is shaped like a hand. I should have led with that.
I think they thought that January 6th would be bigger.
They tried to make it a massacre, but the fucking conservatives just wanted to go take a shit on Pelosi's desk.
You know there's probably somebody like who took a bet in Vegas like for the next pandemic who won like probably millions of dollars because they picked monkeypox.
Probably. To quote Sam Tripoli, I don't see any vaccine injuries. What are you guys talking about?
Yeah, I mean, like, we hear about them and stuff, but I mean, like, are those really happening?
Hey, let's tone down the blackness of Black Panther. The Chinese people ain't liking it. They watched that video of their fucking grandma getting donkey punched on the subway, and they don't want to see black skin in the Black Panther movie.
I am here to president you.
Usually when he says shit like that, Jen Psaki goes on TV and she's like, "Oh, really? What I would say is, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Listen to us."
What if Putin uses like an alien aircraft looking thing that they've created that looks like an alien UFO to drop a nuke, and then he's like, "Well, I didn't do it. The aliens did it." You know what I'm saying?
And it was really us that did it. And we blamed Putin. Putin blamed the aliens, thinking it was us.
He's fucked 16 chickens. There's a mass chicken fucking going on, and it's this guy, Kobe.
What's a chicken good for if you can't fuck him?
Do you mind if I show you my cock floating in zero gravity?
I was just going to say, I would have said yes.
I want to see your cock float in zero gravity. In fact, I want to see my cock float in zero gravity. So can we do it?
There's no libertarians in Davos. Wow, wow, wow.
I can just feel my masculine toxin. What's the word I'm looking for?
Toxicity.
Toxicity. Oozing out of me right now. You feel it?
Yes. Toxicity. Eating bacon and smoking cigars on camera, you motherfuckers. I've got an unregistered fucking pistol they'll never know about unless they watch this podcast.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the most talked about few hours in conspiracy radio. I bring to you Disinfobation with Dusty, myself, Kobe himself.
Hi.
What's up, buddy? Welcome to the show, man. How are you doing today?
I'm ready to fucking talk some shit about stuff.
Me too. Dude, it has been another crazy fucking week in this psycho world we're living in. You know, it's...
I was hoping we could go a week without talking about a mass shooting, really. But
oh, no, we need a counter. But you know what? Something we were talking about earlier, me and my son, was that he pointed out, and it kind of just dawned on me as we were talking about it. And I was like, you realize since last Friday, there's been like 3 or 4 mass shootings. There's been a black person do a mass shooting. There's been an Asian person do a mass shooting at that Asian church in California. There's been a white person do a mass shooting. And now there's been a Hispanic person do a mass shooting.
So what you're telling me is the only inclusive thing in the world as far as like demographics being equally represented is mass shootings.
It appears that may be the only thing where, yeah.
Well, they're even hinting at this last dude being trans. I've seen those
yes,
headlines.
My wife mentioned that. Yes.
I don't know if it's real because it's being it's just like a few things here and there I'm seeing.
They're going to flip it. He was bullied because he was trans. This is trans awareness. We have to bring this to the spotlight.
And the fucking idiots on the right are like, see, being trans is a mental illness. We got to keep a check on this because these fuckers are going to start shooting shit up. So yeah, you could put whatever spin you want on it.
Well, I'll be honest with you, and how I feel about this mass shooting. I kind of wrote this down because I didn't want to just fuck it up. So honestly, something isn't right about the shootings. I mean, they've taken place in, strange places. They've got the same scenario, like especially the last couple, 18-year-old young man who, has somehow been, I don't know if radicalized is the word, or brainwashed, or I don't know what happened to get them to do this, but immediately when it happens, it's a political campaign. They're up there talking about, man, look, this sucks. It's really upsetting, blah, blah, blah. And there's these people talking about, we need to pass legislation. And you're like, dude, legislation wouldn't have stopped that. No matter what you say or do, you could write all the legislation you want. If that kid wanted to kill somebody, he would have figured out a way. He had a truck. He would have drove that bitch through the playground. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean,
little Waukesha homage.
Yeah. Yes. That would have been, dude. He could have drove through the playground. He could have drove it through like a classroom. There's all kinds of ways. He could have taken a rag, soaked it in gasoline, filled his gas tank up, stuffed that rag down in there, lit it, drove it straight into the fucking school, and it would have exploded.
Though, I'll just play devil's advocate here for a second. Dusty, guns make it so much easier.
Actually, guns don't, because you have to go through the trouble of getting one.
He lives in Texas.
True, but you still have to go through the trouble of getting one.
Remind me, because I didn't click on it. I fucking meant to, and I just forgot it till just now. You sent me an article, something about be afraid. This kid purchased 2 guns when he turned 18 or something like that. It was the headline.
Yes. Let me just go ahead and open this bad boy up.
I just figured while we're on the subject of guns and the ease of getting them.
Back to what I was saying, though, I kind of got off track. Hell, even I wrote it down. I got off track. My point is, instead of trying to figure out, blame the weapon, instead of blaming these weapons, blaming a gun for what's happened, let's figure out why these kids are doing these things. What's driving these people to feel like they need to, carry out an atrocity, something like a mass shooting. In this right here, and I'm going to read this in the article, there were some things that kind of was staggering and kind of blew my mind in some ways. I'm going to share my screen with you. Hold on one second. Let me pull it up. See if I can do that.
Daily Beast. Represent.
To talk about this while I'm waiting on this to fucking do. So this kid, he shot his grandmother in the face. Before that, he had posted on social media that he had shot his grandmother in the face, or he was going to shoot his grandmother.
Because she was threatening to take his phone or some shit, right?
Yeah, something crazy like that. They said he was upset because he went graduating or something. Okay, so the cops were pursuing him. He crashed his vehicle. He got out of his vehicle, still made it to the school, was able to get into the school, barricade himself inside the classroom, and kill a bunch of little kids. Now, tell me how that makes any fucking sense whatsoever. If you see this guy running towards a school with the fucking gun in his hand, wouldn't you at all costs just open fire on his ass?
Like, assuming I'm the cops? Yeah.
Yes. If you're the cops.
So the one I heard said that he left the scene where he shot his grandma, then he got in a car wreck, and then people called the cops on him.
So the way it read in this article, he was pursued by the cops.
He was.
You can't
they were
trust
there.
them, like
they
we've
were
said
there.
1,000 times.
They were there when he got out of his car, is what you're telling me. Okay.
That's what it says. That's what it says in here, because it says they pursued him into a school. But this is the Daily Beast, like I said.
And it also all was like within 15 minutes of him leaving his house, right? Like it all happened pretty fucking fast.
Yeah, dude. And it's weird. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Why would you go in and shoot up a school? Like, I don't understand what these little kids do to you, for one. To me, it's just like some kind of weird fucking mind control or they're seeing something else. Or
Look at his eyes, though, man. He doesn't have those MK Ultra eyes like the last few, unless that's an old picture.
Yeah, I mean,
okay, I'll just say this right now. I thought immediately when I heard that one in Buffalo, immediately I smelled a rat. This one, I'm just like, God, I gotta sift through this information. If they did do it, I mean, they're doing a better job.
this one could definitely be like just random, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it does happen.
Oh yeah, it does happen. I mean, not all are false flags, but there are some similarities too. Like they're both 18. They're both had some issues like prior. They both had mental health issues prior. This kid was bullied in school. The other kid was bullied in school. You know what I'm saying? Like, except one was about race, and we don't really even know what this one was about because they killed him.
Yeah, and he didn't have a manifesto.
No, he didn't have a manifesto, but he sent out text messages and shit or something.
Like he was so he posted on social media. He was also chatting with some chick in Germany that he met online, I guess. My frickin' grandma took my phone. Frickin' idiot, Kip. I'm gonna shoot her. Like, okay.
If only Napoleon Dynamite would have shot his grandmother.
Dude, another thing is it's already a Texas gubernatorial standoff fucking in the middle of Abbott's press conference. Beto, that's why I did Napoleon, because he reminds me of Napoleon Dynamite. Heck yeah, I'm going to take all your guns.
Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47. We're not going to allow it to be used against our fellow Americans anymore.
Frickin' idiots. He treaded backwards on that. When he's running this time, he's like, yeah, I'm not going to take your guns. Now he's going to go back, of course. After this,
what kills me is they don't understand that you could take all the guns. We could all turn our guns in. Every single one of the law-abiding citizens could turn their guns in, but I guarantee you, all the bad guys are not going to turn their guns in. That's what makes them bad guys.
I've got an unregistered fucking pistol they'll never know about unless they watch this podcast.
He's like, they'll never know unless they see this part right here.
This is going to be playing on the news someday.
Yeah, when they kidnap you and mind control you.
I'm impenetrable.
I'll have you out there fucking chickens, and they'll be like, there's a chicken fucker out here.
I do have chickens in my backyard.
Fucker. This guy's a chicken fucker. He's fucked 16 chickens. There's a mass chicken fucking going on, and it's this guy, Kobe. He's on a podcast.
What's a chicken good for if you can't fuck him? I mean, I guess they make eggs, but that's just a bonus.
I'm going to pull up the AP, see what they had to say. And something other than the daily business. All right. Onlookers urged police officers to charge into the Texas elementary school where a gunman's rampage killed 19 children and 2 teachers. Witnesses said Wednesday as investigators worked to track the massacre that lasted upwards of 40 minutes and ended when the 18-year-old shooter was killed by a border patrol team.
Border patrol?
I know, yeah, that's what was weird. Because, dude, this is literally like northern Mexico is what they say. This is so close to Mexico, it's ridiculous.
Okay. So they were like the first on the scene then?
I guess so. Nearby women shouted at the officers as soon after the attack began, said Juan Carroza, 24, who saw the scene from outside his house across the street from Robb Elementary School in the town of Uvalde, Texas. Carroza said the officers did not go in. Chicken shit officers. Javier Cazares,
So.
Whose 4th grade daughter, Jacqueline Cazares, was killed in the attack. Maybe have a moment of silence for this young lady. Okay. Said he raced to the school when he heard about the shooting, arriving while police were still massed outside the building. Upset that police were not moving in, he raised the idea of charging into the school with several other bystanders. Let's just rush in because the cops aren't doing anything like they are supposed to, he said. More could have been done. Again, I agree with that. I don't know how the fucking guy made it into the school if he was being pursued by officers. And I'm telling you, the way that other article read, and like I said, we have to take everything with a grain of salt because it could be pushing a narrative. You know what I'm saying? It sounded like that the police were in pursuit of him. He crashed his truck, then he ran into a nearby school. So I don't know. We're going to have to figure that one out.
Well, he also said that he was going to go shoot up an elementary school. So this must have been where he was on his way.
Oh, exactly. Right. Probably headed just in that direction. Let's see. Minutes earlier, Carranza had watched as Ramos crashed his truck into a ditch outside the school, grabbed his AR-15 style semi-automatic rifle, and shot at 2 people outside a nearby funeral home who ran away uninjured. He then exchanged fire with a school district security officer, ran inside, and fired on 2 arriving Uvalde police officers who were outside the building, said Texas Department of Safety spokesperson Travis Casadine. All the law enforcement officers were injured, he said. Hours later, Casadine said authorities did not know for sure whether the school officer exchanged gunfire with Ramos. Law enforcement officials have also issued sometime contradictory statements about the lick of Ramos' rampage. Of course, it's contradictory. After entering the school, Ramos charged into one classroom and began to kill. A law enforcement officer said he barricaded himself by locking the door and just started shooting children and teachers that were inside the classroom. Lieutenant Christopher Olivares of the Department of Public Safety told CNN, "It just shows you the complete evil of the shooter. All those killed were in the same classroom," he said. Department of Public Safety Director Steve McGraw said 40 minutes or so elapsed from when Ramos opened fire on the school security officer and when the SWAT-like Border Patrol team shot him. How shitty are these school security officers? You know what I'm saying? Are you that shitty of a shot?
Well, I mean, I was just going to point out that they're armed, first of all, because it's Texas probably, but shit, I don't know how many states have armed security guards.
We do. We have them.
Yeah,
we have an arm. We have a cop.
Of course you guys do. It's Alabama.
Yeah, but he's only one guy for 3 schools.
So is this like a resource officer, like the school cop?
Yeah, no, he's a real sheriff that's out there. Like he's assigned to that school.
Because we had those in Idaho, but they called them resource officers, and they were basically just like cops that fucked up too many times, so they got assigned to go guard a high school.
This guy, I will give him props. He's actually a pretty good cop. He just he chose.
Why not have that?
I don't know. He chose the duty, from what I understand. After back a while ago when there was like a whole bunch of mass shootings, he chose that position. He's like, I want to be there. So he literally, dude, he'll park his car. Like the school, the way the schools are set up, he'll park his car. There's one for the elementary school because it's further away, but for the high school and the middle school, he'll park his car like in between them, and he'll sit there and just watch all day. Or he'll be inside the school. He's got an office inside there, and he patrols around and all that shit. And I definitely think he would take a motherfucker out if they tried to come into the school. Dude, that's what I was telling my wife. Like, if you try to enter my son's high school or middle school, if you get through the front door, which is really the only open entrance, you have to go through the front, and those doors are locked. You have to be buzzed in to get into the main part of the school through glass, which is, I think, you know, it may not be bulletproof, but it's not like just like glass that you could just walk up and break real easy. So what is up with this school not having any type of security measurements whatsoever? It's not like there's never been a fucking mass shooting in Texas. You know what I'm saying? Like, where was any type of security measures at all? How did this kid get into the school?
He just walked right in.
Yeah. I mean, but how? That makes no fucking sense. If anybody can just walk right in, like I said, at our school, parents can't even get through unless they're buzzed.
Was it like that when you were in school?
Fuck no. A few years ago, when Obama was in office, when we were having all those mass shootings, I remember it very distinctly. Obama was in office, and there was mass shootings happening fucking left and right, it seemed
like the thing that happened in Buffalo a couple of weeks ago. That's different. This is, I mean, dude, the fucking most of these victims were 8 to 10 years old.
No, dude, it's terrible.
It's like the worst thing you could ever see. I mean, what could be worse? Maybe going to a daycare full of 4-year-olds, but I don't know.
Killing babies is just fucked up, dude. They ain't done nothing to nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like
And the kids that survived this, dude, at that age, they're
it's gonna fuck with them, bro. It's gonna fuck with them. They're gonna have a rough road ahead of them. A lot of fucking counseling is gonna be in their future. I assure you.
As long as they don't turn into another fucking David Hogg.
I mean, Jesus. But it was that kid was weird because he was like seen at 2 different locations and shit. And like
he's fucking CIA and he's only 17 when that shit happened.
Something ain't right about it, dude. Like something ain't right about it.
Did you see Louis C.K.'s joke that got spoiled online?
No, I didn't.
Because, you know, when he came back after his masturbation ordeal, he couldn't do a set anywhere without people filming it and ruining his jokes. So he couldn't like work out his set. So anyway, one of the jokes that he didn't make it into his final act was he was talking about these fucking activists from Parkland. And he's like, you're fucking 18. Why do I have to listen to you just because you hid behind some fat kid and survived a school shooting? Such a Louis C.K. joke too. It's just...
That's true, though, in a lot of ways, man. Well, I'll tell you something that bothers me is the way, you know, like, okay, these are just a few bad apples. You know what I mean? These aren't like, okay, when a police officer shoots an unarmed black man, of course, they blame all the police officers. That's not the case. Now, when it happens this way, they try to blame everybody else. But I want you to also notice how they never mentioned this kid's race. They rarely said his name, but they said his last name. And you notice that? What
I did notice was on Twitter yesterday when this shit first broke, a bunch of fucking libtards were like, of course, it's another white kid. And then as soon as we found out that, you know, he looks like he could be
a white kid.
He's Mexican as hell.
Yeah, but by God, that's what I was telling my wife. I was like, dude, they'll probably make him a white supremacist, raised by a white supremacist family, and like they held his eyes open, Clockwork Orange style, and fed him Nazi propaganda his entire life.
Sounds like this was pretty much just a Mexican immigrant school, right? And probably hardly any other race in there.
Yeah, it was a lot of Hispanic kids there. That's a largely Hispanic community from what I understand. But like this kid now, to me, this kid sounds more like a mass shooter because he's like, if you read about him, he had a lisp. They said he was bullied. He got made fun of because of his appearance. I think he might have been trans. Like, I mean,
he was a good looking kid.
But he apparently he got bullied, man, and he wasn't doing good in school, and he wasn't going to graduate. And he was just having a lot of problems. The dude was having a lot of problems.
I also heard that his major breaking point was during like the pandemic lockdowns and stuff. Like he just started getting really antisocial and fighting with his parents. He ended up getting in a fight with his mom's boyfriend, and at some point he moved in with his grandma. You know. Shot her in the face for her hospitality.
Crazy dude.
Oh shit, we still got more of this, huh?
Uvalde is largely a Latino town of some 16,000 people, about 75 miles from the Mexican border. See, it's like right there on the Mexican border. Robb Elementary, which has nearly 600 students in second, third, and fourth grades, is a single-story brick structure in a mostly residential neighborhood of modest homes. Before attacking the school, Ramos shot and wounded his grandmother at her home. Neighbors called police.
Oh, I forgot she's still alive.
And they saw she had been shot in the face. Jesus. Ramos had legally bought the rifle and a second one like it last week, just after his birthday, authorities said. Investigators shed no light on the motive for the attack, which also left at least 17 people wounded. Abbott said Ramos, a resident of the small town about 85 miles west of San Antonio, had no known criminal or mental health issues. Evil swept across Uvalde yesterday, Abbott said. About a half hour before the mass shooting, Ramos sent the first of 3 online messages. Abbott said Ramos wrote that he was going to shoot his grandmother, then that he had shot the woman in the last note, sent about 15 minutes before he reached Robb Elementary. He said he was going to shoot up an elementary school, according to Abbott. Investigators said Ramos did not specify which school. Ramos sent the private one-to-one text messages via Facebook, and they were discovered after the terrible tragedy. Company spokesperson Andy Stone said, he said Facebook is cooperating with investigators. Grief engulfed Uvalde as details emerge of the latest mass shooting throughout the U.S. All of them have social media in common. I've noticed that. You know what I'm saying?
That's how people communicate when they're this age anymore, you know?
Yeah.
But it is weird.
It's weird how they don't mention his race one time. Even though they say it's a largely Latino community, they still never mention that he's Hispanic. I haven't seen it yet. So... oh, I don't know, man.
I would just prefer that was just the way they were all the time. But, you know.
I would too.
Anytime it's a white guy, they're like, the white supremacist terrorist teenager. He was born white. His fucking history is 400 years old.
Oh, wait. Let's just add to it. The Uvalde tragedy was the latest in a seemingly unending wave of mass shootings across the U.S. in recent years. Just 10 days earlier, 10 black people were shot to death in a racist attack at a Buffalo, New York supermarket. President Joe Biden said Wednesday that the Second Amendment is not absolute, as he's called for limitation on guns
Roe v. Wade
in the wake of the massacre. But the prospects for reform of the nation's gun regulations appear dim. Repeated attempts over the years to expand background checks and enact other curbs have run into Republican opposition in Congress. This shooting came days before the National Rifle Association convention was set to begin in Houston, with Texas governor and both the state's Republican U.S. senators scheduled to speak. Dude, that's too much of a fucking coincidence.
Do you believe in coincidence?
That's too much, bro. That tells me something is up.
Finish your thought, and then I want to go back to something.
That's it. That just tells me something's up. It was like days before the National Rifle Association was set to begin in Houston, Texas, where the governor and a Republican senator were supposed to speak.
Well, did you see what Beto O'Rourke said? He demanded that Abbott withdraw his presence there. No, I just heard that on the radio as I was pulling up to my house. So anyway, I want to talk about it. They just gloss over it. In quotations, even, the Second Amendment is not absolute. So as of recent years, the First Amendment is not absolute. And now we have the President of the United States, the current president, saying the Second Amendment is not absolute. That is a bold fucking statement.
Well, brother, I'm gonna tell you right now, if they had it their way, they would take our Bill of Rights and they would burn that shit in front of everybody and tell us that no longer exists. They basically do it every day.
They haven't literally done that. They've done it, theoretically burned it right in front of us.
Oh, they've done it without doing it, bro. It's fucking sad.
I would actually prefer that they just burn it in front of us and be honest about it, to tell you the truth. I want my authoritarians to be more like Stalin and just be straightforward about what they're doing to us.
Well, that's what's scary about our problem. They're all doing it under the guise of being good.
Yeah, it's like any Orwell novel.
That's what's scary if you really think about it, because they're trying to, like, everything comes off as they're the good guys. They're trying to prevent evil, and anyone against them are the evil people. That's the way they approach it.
I've had some conversations with some more left-leaning friends of mine in recent years, and they always ask me, why are you afraid to live in a country that's not armed? And that my new answer is, look at Australia during COVID, because they all gave their guns up after a mass shooting, the Port Arthur massacre in 1996. They gave up their guns like 2 weeks later, and they were the easiest Western country to fucking lock down and severely lock down.
Oh, they took their kids if they refused to get vaccinated.
And they were rounding up Aborigines just like it was fucking the 1700s all over again.
Some of the shit that people get away with in the name of an emergency. A fucking emergency that's been happening for 2 years in some fucking places. Think about that. California is still under a state of emergency. Fucking Canada. That's something I got on here to talk about too, man. Canada is fucking straight up. The conservative Canadians are trying to get answers for this emergency act that they passed. And they're trying their best not to give up the goods, bro. They're trying their best. They're like, oh, we were advised, but they won't say who advised them.
Canada's fucking done, dude. We're not far behind them.
It's the CCP, the Canadian Communist Party.
Little Justin Castro with his swanky sock collection.
Bloody fucking loser is what he is. He's a bloody fucking loser.
Joe Rogan called him an insane tyrant the other day. I saw in a headline.
Dude, it's so funny. Joe Rogan, anything Joe Rogan says makes the fucking headline. I wish I could. I wish I had that power. Oh my God.
You don't want that. You don't. We need to stay right here. If we start making headlines, dude, we're fucked.
We're making hundreds of millions of dollars if we're making that kind of headlines.
How about this? I'll meet you halfway. Let's settle for 1/10 of Joe Rogan's audience.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, he gets.
God, could you imagine?
He averages 12 million downloads.
God, that'd be so badass.
I don't know, man.
$100 million, dude. God. You know what though? I find, and this is no kidding, I could have plenty of fucking money, and I'm stressed out about the money the entire time I've had it. And
more money, more problems.
When it's gone, I'm stressed out about being broke. Like I'm dead serious. I'm like
less money, same amount of problems.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm telling you, man.
So are you gonna read more of this article?
You know what? I mean, it really just rambles on.
That last part, I'm glad you got in there about the NRA conference or whatever.
It's just weird, man. Like just the whole, I didn't want to go on and on about a mass shooting tonight because we did last week, but fuck, man.
Dude, I have a feeling that we might be talking about him every fucking episode, you know?
I think next will be an unarmed black guy. I really do. I think
an unarmed black guy.
Yeah.
Will you explain the logistics of that for me?
A cop shooting an unarmed black guy. Yes.
I thought you meant it was going to be an unarmed black guy doing a mass shooting.
Oh.
I was like, that's fucking magical, man. I know they're athletic, but damn.
He'll have no arms and he'll still shoot his gun with his feet.
That's doable. I've seen a bitch with the fucking unarmed compound bow hitting bullseye every time with her feet, doing a handstand.
Man. It's amazing what the human body can fucking adapt to and learn to do. Like, especially if you're born without something. Yeah, I've seen a dude that can shoot a gun perfectly with his feet. He was born with no arms. So yeah, it's very possible. So he'd be an unarmed black man. So crazy. But yes, no, I think what's going to happen next, man.
Yeah, that's been a while since that one's been in the mix.
And that's what sets the United States on fire, is that kind of shit.
Well, wasn't it the 2-year anniversary this week of Senior Floyd?
Oh, dude.
Saint Floyd, I should say.
Did you see Obama's tweet?
I don't look at his tweets. What did it say?
Oh, dude. I do, just so I could fucking... Oh my God!
I should follow him. I never thought to, but he'd be worth looking into.
Dude, this motherfucker, man! I'd like to punch him in the dick for real.
Why don't you punch him in his wife's dick?
He said, "As we grieve the children of Uvalde today, we should take time to recognize that 2 years have passed since the murder of George Floyd under the knee of a police officer. His killing stays with us all to this day, especially those who loved him."
Well, way to fucking take attention away from these kids that just got shot by talking about fucking George Floyd. What the hell?
Is that not fucking crazy, dude? That is the craziest fucking statement. What?
He's like, just in case you guys forgot, I know that it's so many ago. What a fucking dick.
I mean, yeah, guys, I know we're divided, probably the worst we've ever divided in history. Half the country thinks the election was rigged. The other half the country thinks that that other half are Nazis. while the other half thinks those guys are Nazi communists. So we're fucking divided like crazy. Now you want to remind us of the hate of what helped start the divide getting deeper.
Hey, I'm
Yeah.
not. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm just the timing of him bringing up George Floyd is what's ridiculous. Like, was it?
Who brings it up? Fuck these children.
Maybe it was because it was the anniversary that he felt the need to do it. But
that's still classless, dude. That's garbage.
Well, he's a classless fuck. You remember when he was making a joke about the Jonas Brothers hitting on his daughters, and he's like, "I got 2 words for you: predator drones." And it's like, you fucking have killed more people with predator drones than George Bush's fucking administration times 1,000.
Dude,
and
they
you're
ran
gonna
out
joke
of
about
bullets,
that?
yo.
Yeah.
Now let's move on to the next segment. Establishment fuck of the week.
Oh, I didn't even read this. I saw who you picked, but I want to hear your spiel.
This week's establishment fuck of the week is no other than Mitch motherfucking McConnell. He is a Kentucky senator. Oh my God.
I'll talk like a Mitch McConnell.
He is Kentucky 99th through 117th senator. He's been in fucking office since 1985. He voted for the Iraq war both times. He voted to send troop surges to Iraq and to Afghanistan. He is a warmongering piece of shit who voted to send $40 billion on top of the other $20 billion to Ukraine. And he thinks we should use more force in Ukraine than what we are using, which would start World War III, which would probably end in nuclear destruction. But you know what? Mitch McConnell thinks we aren't doing enough. We aren't doing enough, Mitch. We aren't doing enough.
We salute you, Mitch McConnell.
You piece of shit establishment fuck of the week. Won't you retire? This is why we need term limits, my friend. This guy right here has helped. Like, if it's I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but both sides are like this. They both do it. But if it's a piece of legislation that's good for the American people, this motherfucker is the number one guy to vote against it. Same with fucking Schumer on the other side. If like the Republicans have like miraculously have some type of good legislation, which is rare. Have you noticed that the Republicans never have shit as far as regulation? All we ever hear about is the shit the Democrats are trying to do. That's all we ever hear about.
You know why? Because if you and I oppose Joe Biden, there's a whole bunch of fucking retards calling themselves patriots who just assume that we're red-blooded conservatives, which I'm not. I'm
not at all. Yep.
And I find that they're more reasonable lately. But when I start talking to them, man, if I don't want to get in a fight, I just pretend I'm talking to a liberal person. You know, I'm not going to like tell them how I feel about Donald Trump unless they ask me.
True. Yeah.
But yeah, to get back to your establishment of the week pick, Jon Stewart's kind of lost me lately. But one of my favorite things is when he used to make fun of Mitch McConnell. I'm Mitch McConnell. I'm like a turtle.
I'm a turtle, man.
He looks like that cartoon, that Looney Tunes cartoon turtle.
Yeah. Nope. I don't gotta go down to the. I don't go very fast.
To me. And we both feel this way, so I don't feel guilty for speaking for you, Dusty, but it's one party. We've got a one-party system that pretends that it's got two sides to it.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. They agree, like we've said a million times, and this guy's one of them. They love to fuck children, they love to start wars, and they love to fucking bail out corporations. And they're all guilty of it. And he's one of the main ones. He's been doing it since 1985, which is, by the way, no one should be in office that long. Fuck, Putin hasn't been in office that long.
I know, and we're always so quick to be like, this guy is a lifelong leader. And it's like, no, he really isn't. He died of Parkinson's disease as somebody who didn't have as much years under his belt as Mitch McConnell.
Oh, I'm here.
There you are. Woo, he's back, ladies and gentlemen.
Can you hear me, lad?
You sound like Maverick talking to Goose.
Yeah, Maverick.
I'll be your Goose.
Breaker 9. I got a 10-4 out here. We're gonna head on down here all across this damn mountain. We're gonna shoot down. We're gonna buzz down low. We're gonna take out them falcons as we get down there. I want y'all to hit those falcons with everything you got. You understand me?
You know who he sounded like? He sounded like Boomhauer. Goddamn, come on, man.
Daggum old dang, man. I ain't near my life, man. Daggum old dang, man. I ain't near my life,
Did you do his voice?
Thing, man.
It sounds just
no,
like
man,
his
I
ass.
never did no daggum old voice, man. And them dang, man. I never did them thing, man. Talking about this voice, man. And go over there and talk about that. I also do a good Louisiana.
Oh, that Creole.
I don't damn old daggum old thing down there. Come on. They get them money, they gumbo. You get somebody the gumbo, you come down to my house, I get the gumbo for you. Dude, I lived in New Orleans, and I kid you, not New Orleans, but in Louisiana, like fucking Fort Polk, Louisiana, down in the fucking, dude, it was like the most crappiest little town ever, this little town called Leesville. And you've seen Waterboy, right? You've seen the movie Waterboy. You remember in Waterboy, the coach, you couldn't understand what he was saying.
Live a play another day.
Yeah, live a play another day. We get to fucking Louisiana, and like I'm on the bus. I had to ride a fucking bus because my car tore up right before I was leaving. But I had to be there on my report date or I'd be AWOL. So I called a bus, drove from Alabama to Louisiana. It was like a 17-hour drive, dude. And there's all these creepy ass looking people on this fucking bus. And I'm like this 19-year-old fucking soldier in uniform, mind you. So I was fucking felt weird the whole way. And I was like, dude, this is so fucking weird, man. There's so many. Oh my God. And luckily there was a guy who got on in like Mississippi, and he was a soldier, and we fucking hung together. Cause if we didn't, we might've been murdered. I'm not joking, but we got to Louisiana, and the first person we come across, they let us out. Well, let me go back a little bit. They let us out in the middle of fucking nowhere at this little tiny like shack looking thing that was a bus stop. There's no phone. There's no nothing. This is 2000 now. So there's no cell phones really. We didn't have cell phones for sure. Dude, I'm not joking. Like we walked to this little gas station and we wanted to use the phone. So we walk up this little they gave us a number to call like our staff duty and shit. And they'd tell us where to go and all that shit. So we walk up and this dude turns around, and I swear to God, he was that fucking guy from Waterboy.
Did he have overalls on?
Yes. The hair. I mean, dude, I was like, Dag went down with the fart about, and was like, what the fuck is he saying? We're like, can we use your phone? He's like, Dag, my phone, man. What the fuck are you saying, dude?
It's
can
like
we use your
like
phone?
A Jamaican hillbilly.
Yes, but it was so hilarious. We were like, dude, that's fucking insane, man. It was just like the stereotype of fucking. We were there like 10 minutes, and we had already ran into the stereotype. Like it was.
I mean, I think stereotypes are probably thick down there.
Oh, dude, yeah. The stereotypes run wild in Alabama. People live up to them. I think people like to live up to the stereotypes in the South. I do. I really do. I think it's like a tradition type thing. Like, I don't even think people like the rebel flag because they like the rebel flag. They do it because it's just like a thing they do.
Well, it's like keeping the dead South alive, you know?
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of the whole South thing.
Well, hey, man, I tell you what. I used to think that war was about slavery. It's like everything else, man. They made it about that, but really Abe Lincoln was a fucking Federalist cocksucker.
Well, yeah, it was about all kinds of shit.
You know what he said?
Wasn't just about slavery.
Abe Lincoln said he thought black people should live away from white people.
Oh, of course. I'm telling you, there was no
the great emancipator.
Racist. Dude, it's like I've said before. Slavery was legal and okay in the United States federally until it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Until it started to become unpopular. And there were slave uprisings happening and people escaping, and white people were starting to get upset about it. And it was, it became unpopular. So then it's like gay marriage with fucking what's his name? With Joe Biden. There's a video of Joe Biden talking about how gay marriage is between a man and a woman. The same man who just tweeted out.
I saw you post that yesterday. Yeah.
LGBTQ National blah, blah, blah day. And I'm like, yeah, that's the guy who believed in, the marriage between a woman and a man.
Well, I'm
he's
waiting for
a
him
good
to
guy.
have a fucking homophobic slip up over this monkeypox shit.
Oh, dude.
You know
it's
he will.
coming.
Before it's over, he'll be
coming.
like, I just wish, man, come on, man, with these faggot monkeys.
What did the monkeypox say to the gay guy?
Oh, I saw this yesterday. You're gonna have to remind me though.
I'm coming for you.
All right, so I'm gonna finish up, and we'll get away from the establishment and go on to the next one. But we were talking about how you have Schumer and McConnell always agreeing on the really big things, and then you have AOC walk up there and give it a nay vote and be like, "I wanted to vote the other way." And she starts crying and goes on Twitter. She's like, once you're in here, you just have to." I hate her so much, and I know she's an actress. But goddamn, she's a good actress.
Did you see where Marjorie Taylor Greene won her fucking primary?
Oh,
I like her.
Let's
I think
talk
she's
about
the one with some
this.
balls.
So I find it hilarious when I listen to NPR in the morning. All these races, the whole context revolves around Trump. They don't want him in the lexicon, but it's all about, so this Trump-supported candidate lost. This Trump-backed candidate won. That's how they fucking frame all of it.
Have you seen where they said Trump something like it was hundreds of times in inside 1 hour on MSNBC?
Oh, it's like how Rachel Maddow used to say Russia, 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 Russia.
Somebody
Russia,
had
Russia,
cut
Russia.
it down, and it was a lot, dude. They were showing it today. I'm like, it must be nice to live in people's head rent free like that.
Dude, they want him back,
nice.
and they're not going to let him leave. They're making all of these elections are all revolving around him, and especially Georgia. Stacey Abrams told people, because she knows she's a shoo-in, her Democratic base. She told them to register as Republicans to vote against. Was it Kemp or the other guy that Trump was backing? I think it's not
probably the other guy.
Yeah, so I think she was saying you guys need to go vote for Kemp.
Oh, talking about, dude, did you see where how they made those voter laws and shit, and people were all up in arms saying it was racist and this and that, and it would stop people from voting?
Because fucking black people are too fucking stupid to figure out how an ID works. That's
right.
Remember
how they made a big deal, the fucking All-Star game was removed from fucking Atlanta over there.
Dude, fuck the Major League Baseball.
Dude, it turns out that they had the largest voting turnout in history.
Yeah, and you see Stacey Abrams try to fucking pussyfoot her way around that logic.
Tried to say that they don't make sense, dude. When they're wrong, they don't know what to do.
Dude,
throw a beer can at you. That's what they do.
Are we going to tell that story on air?
Yes, I'm going to tell that fucking story.
So, when they're wrong, and obviously wrong, they doubled down so hard. And both sides do it. It's not a Democrat thing. It's just it's having a team. You're on one political side or the other. You're never going to be able to admit when you're wrong. That's why I just stand back here as a fly on the wall and laugh my ass off. I've never voted, and I never will. I know that for a fact.
I always vote against them all.
I will not do that. If I ever vote, I'm voting for somebody, and I've never seen somebody worth voting for.
Well,
I thought Tulsi Gabbard was it, and she's not.
You really don't know if she's it, really.
Well, dude, I have we talked about this at all?
I think she's been kicked out of the Economic Forum. I think that she got blackballed.
Well, I'm still always.
She may have been part of it.
Well, she was CFR, 5-year term, Council on Foreign Relations, and anybody who's a part of that bullshit, it's just as bad as going to Davos.
Right. She opened her mouth. I think she got blackballed. She might have been somebody they had big plans for.
In my mind, she's like Leonardo DiCaprio's character in The Departed. There's this big public outing. Oh, he's not a cop anymore, and then he joins the mafia. That's what they're doing with Tulsi Gabbard. They're making it look like she's not establishment, man. But I'll believe it the day that they fucking really take her out. But they're not gonna. She's gonna run as a Republican someday.
Oh, I know, and she's gonna win.
I always thought.
I'm telling you, whoever gets up there and tells the fucking truth, the 2024 election, and it's no guarantee it's gonna be no Trump. Whoever gets up there and just fucking tells the truth and stands up for the American people, like truly stands up for the American people, whoever does that will be the winner. That's what it's going to come down to. People are sick and fucking tired of people not telling them the truth.
You think it's going to be Rand Paul?
The only person I can think of that tells the truth is Rand Paul.
I mean, he is
Marjorie Taylor Greene. But she's the only one who brought up the fucking baby formula thing. Nobody else was bringing it up. They're like, oh, they'll forget about it. Let's not bring it up. She's the only one that brought that shit up. I'm not saying she's this great person, but she will tell it like it is.
Oh, I believe that she's authentic 100%, but it doesn't mean I have to like what she says.
True.
I don't think she's full of shit. She has allowed her character to be assassinated by being brutally honest. And I think that she's going to stick with that.
Oh yeah, it's winning. It's working for her. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes it works to be like this, to allow the other side to frame you as this bad guy, because your side is going to see you as not the bad guy.
Well, she's like you, man.
They're going to see them trying to frame you as the bad guy.
She's always going to be tarnished by that fucking Q shit.
I know. That's the only thing that sucks, man. The Q thing fucks so many people.
Dude, I knew Q was bullshit from the very beginning, but I also knew like a good deal of it was true.
Right? Oh, I know. Just enough is true, though.
A lot of it's true.
Just enough is true. You know what I'm saying? Like, just enough. Like JFK, Kennedy's not coming back, but
and Trump
there are
is not
children
Batman.
fucking being trafficked. We all know that. Fucking Epstein Island. My God. What more proof do you need?
Why are we okay with kids getting fucked by politicians, but we cry whenever they get shot at school?
I don't know. Because that's something they do on the DL.
But it's not on the DL anymore.
That's something that no one's supposed to know happens.
But it's out now, and the only people who deny that it's happening they have their head in the sand. Yeah, you're right. We need to move on to another topic. Because I'll go on about fucking QAnon all day.
Oh, I know. We should do a whole episode about QAnon, dude. Like,
dude, we should have on...
or we should have a segment.
We should have Lux or NY Patriot on to talk about Q, because they did that whole deep dive.
I love the PSYOP part of it, man, because to me, it sounds so obvious. And the way it's been used since then, oh my God. If that doesn't tell you it's a PSYOP, I don't know what does.
Well, I didn't know why they were doing it, but I knew they were doing it. As soon as January 6th happened, it was always leading up to this. Always.
I think they thought that January 6th would be bigger.
They tried to make it a massacre, but the fucking conservatives just wanted to go take a shit on Pelosi's desk. That's all they wanted to do.
Yeah, they tried so hard. They had dudes in there with bear spray and stuff. Those are plants.
Well, and there was dudes packing heat there, but nobody fucking took out their gun and shot anybody except for the cops there. One cop.
And they definitely try to make it sound like 5 people died that day.
Well, some fat fucks had some heart attacks a couple weeks later or something like that.
Yeah. They tried to make it look like, and that was probably because of the vaccine.
Well, you could also say that like Anthony Weiner's laptop killed 9 cops, even though it took a few months.
True. Exactly. You're exactly right.
You open that thing and you want to commit suicide right away. Seeing fucking Hillary and Huma Abedin sacrificing a kid or whatever the fuck was on there.
Dude, that's so fucking terrifying, man. People are scary, bro. People are fucking terrifying.
I've been watching you masterfully create this blunt for like 2 minutes. It's great. I just go buy one. I'm lazy. Oh yeah, let's move on.
Let's just give one last nod to the establishment fuck of the week, Mitch McConnell. Fuck you. Retire, dude. Retire. Get the fuck out of office. We don't need you there. You don't know what our country needs. You sold out a long time ago. Just go away.
I want to teabag you, Mitch McConnell. What's next?
Oh, we're talking about the next segment is how close is Putin's finger to the nuclear button? Will he be blowing us to smithereens before it's all said and done, before the end of the day? How close is he? Let's see. We're going to Google a headline, and the first headline that pops up, guess what's going to happen?
Nice.
We're going to talk about how much we're going to die.
Sure, I have DuckDuckGo, so fuck
Go
your
ahead,
Google.
Sam.
Just tell me exactly what to Google. Let's get this picture of my dick off of that's for later. Those are pictures of my wiener.
Monkeypox.
My wiener's also shaped like a hand, oddly.
Dude, you know there's probably somebody like who took a bet in Vegas like for the next pandemic who won like probably millions of dollars because they picked monkeypox.
Probably. I would have gone for smallpox and it would have been really close. All right. Ukraine-Russia conflict or war? What should I type?
Either one, it doesn't matter. It's gonna pop up all kinds of stupid, crazy headlines.
Oh, shit. First thing that comes up is Pappy Zelensky talking at Davos, but that's not an article. CNN, this is going to be good. So this came out today.
Russia's war in Ukraine.
Oh, it's just a bunch of articles.
Oh, let's talk about what would make Putin want to blow up everyone.
Look at this shit. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has made a blistering, just like my dick with the monkeypox, a blistering attack on former U.S. Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, who suggested on Tuesday that peace negotiations should be aimed at creating borders along the, quote, line of contact, end quote, in Donbass as it existed on the eve of the Russian invasion. Wow. Kissinger's calling for peace negotiations. What the fuck world do we live in where that's like what's happening right now?
I know, right?
And Zelensky's like, fuck your peace. Give us money.
Look, I am not here for peace. I am here for total annihilation of the Russian people. They invaded our country, and I want to destroy them.
That sounded more like Kissinger. So this is Kissinger in a video at Davos. Wow. So Zelensky rebutted, no matter what the Russian state does, there is someone who says, let's take into account its interests. This year in Davos, it was heard again, despite thousands of Russian missiles hitting Ukraine, despite tens of thousands of Ukrainians being killed, despite Bucha and Mariupol, etc., despite... No one talks like that. He's reading that shit, etc. Despite the destroyed cities and despite the filtration camps built by the Russian state in which they kill, torture, rape, and humiliate like on a conveyor belt.
Jesus Christ.
Russia has done all this in Europe, but still in Davos, for example, Mr. Kissinger emerges from the deep past and says that a piece of Ukraine should be given to Russia. In his remarks, Kissinger said of that conflict that negotiations need to begin in the next... Hey, will you read this in your Kissinger voice? Negotiations?
In his remarks, Kissinger said of the conflict, negotiations need to begin in the next 2 months before it creates an upheaval and tensions that will not be easily overcome. Ideally, the dividing line should be a return to the status quo, apparently suggesting that Ukraine agrees to give up much of the Donbass and Crimea.
Look at this.
Pursuing the
Zelensky.
war beyond that point would be not about the freedom of Ukraine, but a new war against Russia itself.
Zelensky compared that to appeasement of Nazi Germany. Really?
That is kind of what they did in Nazi back then. I mean, they was giving them little pieces by little pieces, but
that doesn't mean that you could even put that in this context. I mean, you can if you want to overlook a bunch of shit, like, for example, what side the Nazis are fighting on in this one. The way that Zelensky speaks, no one talks like that. This is direct quote, and I'm sure he said it in Ukrainian, and they translated it, but it's a script. All right, so yeah, I think that's enough to get a conversation going. How close do I think the finger is to the button? I don't think it's close at all.
really, you don't think so?
No, I think that the desperation you see in the news right now, because one day I hear Ukraine is kicking the fuck out of, I'm paraphrasing, Ukraine is kicking the fuck out of Russia. It's not even close. And then the next day they're like, well, we got to give them more money. Okay. Why?
Or, no, Russia took this city, and you're like, wait, I thought that they just said that Russia wasn't winning. I've seen that. Have
They
you
just
seen
raped
that?
a bunch of people and then pulled out. That's what
Yeah,
they do
what
when they
the
take
fuck?
cities.
At least they're pulling out. They're not leaving pregnant women. I mean, too soon, too
They're
soon.
pro-life.
Dude, let me tell you something trippy. In Afghanistan, right? You would see these like blonde-headed Afghani people, right? They'd be like fair skin, blonde hair, or light color hair, brown hair. And you'd be like, what the fuck are those people?
Half Russian.
Those were Russian rape babies.
Yeah.
The Russians really did rape the Afghani women.
Dude,
and
that's one of the
impregnate them.
first things that happens in war. Like when I make light of what they're saying, the reason I make light of it is because if you take Bucha or Bucha, however you say that, for example, if you look at the timeline of events, that was the Azov battalion that did that. But yeah, to get back to what you're saying, Afghani, I don't think that's proper. Afghanistanians?
No, they call them Afghanis. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but NPR said that's rude. But anyway, yeah,
fucking
you
PR,
see a
they're all
lot of half-white people there. I
funny
bet.
bitches.
And they're all like born in
there's
the
quite a bit.
late 80s, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. We had a couple of dudes that was part of the crew that came on to our base and like helped clean it up and shit, dude. Like they would hire like local nationals that were like extremely vetted to come on bases and like pick up trash and just pretty much be like our slaves for like next to nothing. They'd pay them like $1 a day or some crazy shit, like $10 a day or something. Like I'm not joking either. That was real. Like that's how it worked. And we paid them in cash too. So pretty much we were running slave trades up in that bitch, man. But they showed up every day ready to work their asses off.
Spoils of war. All right, so you think his finger's close to the button?
I do. I think his finger's close because have you seen where they did the simulation of like blowing up England with a nuclear blast, and then they were like it took out Ireland, and they were like Ireland's just collateral damage because Ireland's like neutral.
Yeah, but I thought
And
we were
they're
talking about Russia doing it. If they're doing a drill, that means we're gonna do it.
Well, Russia was doing the drill. They were
Oh,
showing the
really?
simulation.
I
Yeah.
didn't see, no, I don't know about
Russia
this.
was showing the simulation on their state TV.
Like they are the
And,
one
and that's when
in the simulation. They're the ones who threw the nuke.
yeah, they bombed England in the simulation, and it took out Ireland. And the news commentator guy said, "Sorry, Ireland, you're just collateral damage," and that offended Ireland because Ireland was like on their side.
You're always collateral damage, Ireland.
Yeah, they were like neutral or some shit.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be
Yeah,
Poland.
you're just collateral damage, and it hurt Ireland's feelings. They were like upset. They demanded an apology and all this shit. And Russia was like, "No, we're not apologizing." And
I see a rematch between Habib or what Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor and Habib. Dude, that's how we should settle all of our bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
You remember when Elon Musk challenged Putin to a fucking like judo match or some shit? The stakes are Ukraine.
No, I don't remember.
This was like a few weeks before he bought Twitter. But yeah,
dude, they should do that. They should have like the top fighter in Ukraine take on the top fighter in Russia for each region. And whoever the winner is,
Zelensky's going to be fighting everybody. Stud muffin with his fucking tight shirt.
He's the presidentinator. The presidentinator. I am here to destroy you. I have been sent from the future to save mankind from the evil Russians. I am going to destroy everybody. I mean, I am going to save the country.
I got to look into that drill.
I feel like Putin and China and maybe North Korea. North Korea has been firing some fucking projectiles into the Japanese Sea. During that Asian tour that Biden was just on, the Russians and the Chinese, they flew jets over the sea, like right near it. You know what I'm saying? Like they're fucking with them, dude. I don't think they're scared of the United States and their sanctions any longer. And I don't think they're afraid of anything.
Dude, if they got China in their corner, they don't need to be afraid.
And then fucking Biden says that, yes, if China attacks Taiwan, we will fight them militarily. Says it in a fucking speech in Asia
They haven't fucking taken that back yet. Usually when he says shit like that, Jen Psaki goes on TV and she's like, well, really what I would say is he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Listen to us. And they haven't done that. Is that the new policy?
Maybe.
Because
they've always said things like that.
But in that same statement, he said we still support a one China policy.
I believe he gets confused. Like he'll have these prep briefings where they have like these media people like pretend to be media to ask him questions to prepare him for the media, for the press conference and for his speech. They're going over the real information and what not to say. And I believe when he gets out there in front of the press, he gets confused and he thinks he's back there and he says things that he should have said. You know what I'm saying? That was said during their private meeting. He said it out loud. He got confused. You see what I'm saying? Like he's speaking the truth accidentally. It'd be like, being around a small child and talking about, hey, look, man, we're going to go rob this bank and blah, blah, blah. And then the child gets up in front of TV and the child's like, they're like, what's your dad doing right now? Well, he said he was going to rob a bank. The kid doesn't know better. You know what I'm saying?
But they have to have a better handle on him than it appears than they do. I don't know. I don't know if they're trying to make him look slightly intentional
because they want Kamala Harris to be president.
They don't want that either. She's worse, dude, and she doesn't have dementia to blame for it. Did you see her quote the other day where she was like, those of us in our room when we're talking about children of the community, we all know that they are children of the community. And then she just looks like she just nailed the smartest statement ever. She speaks like a fortune cookie. And she doesn't I don't know if they knew how fucking stupid she is when they got her in there. She sucked dick to get to the top, first of all.
Yeah, true. She definitely didn't earn
and she got a little taste of power as the AG in California, man. She's a fucking vampire.
She locked up so many black guys, dude, for fucking marijuana.
And then
laughed 1,600.
And then laughed on Charlemagne the God about how she did inhale and
yeah. Fucking cunt. Yeah, dude, I'm not a fan of her. And what's weird is she was she polled the lowest out of all of them, and they chose her to be the.
She didn't get a single delegate. Tulsi Gabbard took her ass out of the race by talking about what we just said, by the way. So anyway, you know who's behind her? If something happens to Joe and then something happens to Kamala, we get Nancy Pelosi.
I know, dude, and that could be their plan too. Oh God. Oh God. That's not cool. That's not a good plan, bro.
I'd almost rather see Kamala than Nancy, tell you the truth. If I had to pick.
Yeah, because, Nancy, that bitch has been in power so long. Oh, my God. You know what she reminds me of? Have you seen, it's called The Emperor's New Groove. It's an old
David
Disney
Spade
movie. No, well, I don't know. It's an old Disney movie. It's an animated movie.
Yeah, I think David Spade does the voice.
Yeah, he probably does. But anyways.
Is there a llama in it?
Yeah, she turns him into a llama. Yeah. This old lady does. She's like his advisor.
Oh,
I swear to God, dude.
Yes.
Oh my God.
She's got blue skin or some shit, but she's a real skinny
gray
old lady.
Looking skin. She looks old, real skinny. She wears those dresses and shit. That's Nancy Pelosi, dude.
Does she go like this with her dentures?
Yeah, I shared a GIF the other day of them two. And it was look, actual footage of Zelensky. It was the muscle bound guy that was her her assistant or what her I guess fuck boy or whatever. And he was standing there and they were dressed in mad scientist suits, and I was like, actual footage of Pelosi and Zelensky.
I saw that, and I know I even liked it, but I didn't know where the picture came from. It's fucking Disney. Oh,
you're not up on your Disney movies. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Hey, man. All I know is watch episode 21 of Conspiracy Playtime. Just plugging my show.
Soros says Ukraine conflict could lead to Third World War. I think Soros wants exactly that.
Soros is
civilization
hoping
might not survive either.
Might. Yeah, fucking U.S. and Russia and China all go to war. Ain't gonna be much left. We might as well either start hiking to Argentina now or just go stand where the nuke's gonna fall.
Right. Dude, I'm going to tell you right now, my next segment, I think that's what's in store. I don't know if it's going to be a nuclear thing or not. The similarities are too close to what I remember when COVID happened. So our next segment is UFOs, right? You know, we all know that over the last week, they've held like hearings in Washington, D.C. Congress has talking about UFOs, right? They talked about how they've been like 400 reported sightings in the last however many years or so, you know, different things. All right. They showed some different sightings. They've encouraged people to come forward and stuff like that.
If you've seen a UFO come forward.
Yeah. If you've seen a UFO,
imagine those
forward.
fucking floodgates.
Right.
Could it be all the people who call in to fucking Coast to Coast AM making congressional fucking testimonies?
And the reason I find this odd is, okay, so I'm going to read this article real quick. I won't read it all. I'll just read some of it. A database of reports of UFOs now includes about 400 incidents, up from 143 assessed in a report released about a year ago. A Navy intelligence official told lawmakers at a congressional hearing on Tuesday the military's 2021 report said no evidence of aliens had been found. Scott W. Bray, the deputy director of naval intelligence, told lawmakers that they still haven't uncovered anything.
That guy is an alien.
Origin. I know, right? Even though there are incidents they can't explain. None of the documented objects had attempted to communicate with U.S. aviators, and no attempt had been made to communicate with them, he said, as they all appeared to be unmanned. All right. Reports of
alien drones.
Yes, alien drones. Reports of unidentified flying objects, now called unexplained aerial phenomena, or UAPs, by the military have been increasing, said
Just
Bray.
call them UFOs, you stupid fuckers. Why try to?
No, they got to go give it some fucking twisted name.
So it sounds more real.
Improved sensors and increase in drones and other non-military unmanned aerial systems and aerial clutter, such as malar balloons, as causes for the uptick, encouraging more pilots to come forward. Incidents in 2021 report date as far back as 2004 and were based on both sensor data and observations by military aviators, said Bray. Many of the latest entries do not have sensor data. They're from people coming forward with older stories that they chose not to report at the time, Bray said. That's evidence that the military drive to destigmatize such reports is working, he added. Navy and Air Force crews now have step-by-step procedures for reporting UAPs on their knee board in the cockpit.
On their knee board?
In their knee board in the cockpit. I guess it's like a little keyboard. It's an important effort, said blah, 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 who noted that skepticism around UFOs likely has led pilots to avoiding making the reports or getting laughed at when they did. Oh, come on, dude. If they had reported that shit, they would have been put in a fucking insane asylum. We all know how they used to treat people. Tuesday's session, the first public hearing on UFOs in more than 50 years, also included testimony from Ronald S. Moultrie, the Pentagon's top intelligence official. He noted the competing needs for transparency and secrecy in the hearing. Moultrie noted that he's a science fiction fan and that simple human curiosity means that we won't know what's out there, just like you.
I love fucking Steven Spielberg movies. I like E.T.'s my favorite, but
it was totally rad. The Expanse was awesome.
I think the really aliens and close encounters of the third kind are the most realistic.
But my favorite is Star Trek. The way all the aliens and mankind work together. That was so realistic. I loved it. It's awesome. So anyways, these motherfuckers had this meeting. They talked about it while all these other crazy fucking things are going on in the world. Okay. Something I noticed before the fucking pandemic happened is there was a documentary on Netflix it was entitled Pandemic. And it like literally simulated a pandemic and showed how the reaction would be and all this shit, right? And they talked about vaccines and how they would handle it and yada, 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 yada. All right. Now on Peacock, there's a fucking documentary style show thing called Alien Invasion. Are we ready? And it literally, it's like it's documenting like how an alien invasion would happen. Almost like they're like warning us. Like, dude, I'm not joking either.
So
they
we got
explain
less
how
than
they
a
would
year.
get here. Say what?
So by that time scale, if you're comparing it to that pandemic thing, we got less than a year.
I know.
Did this just come out?
So, yes, this just came out. So, dude, think about that, man. I think that that's what's going to happen. They're going to fucking pull a fake alien attack.
Yeah, it's Project Bluebeam, holographic technology. But dude, I think that they could use that technology to fake a nuclear war, to fake an alien invasion, or to just have one big fucking orgy of bullshit and fake them both at the same time.
Dude, what if Putin uses like an alien aircraft looking thing that they've created that looks like an alien UFO to drop a nuke, and then he's like, well, I didn't do it. The aliens did it. You know what I'm saying?
And it was really us that did it. And we blamed Putin. Putin blamed the aliens, thinking it was us. Well, so did you watch this documentary, all of it today?
I have watched it all the way to like the 3rd episode, and it is trippy.
Oh, it's
dude.
a series.
They go into detail. Yes, they go into details. Like they CGI the fuck out of the whole thing, man. It looks like a real alien invasion. They took scenes from different things, and like they've added actors and stuff. Like they've made their own, like these alien robot looking things ripping people from the ground and people fighting them with guns. It looks like something out of a movie, dude. But this like documentary style, and they're serious. They're like they're interviewing these scientists and stuff that are like, yep, this could happen, and this is how they could do it, and blah blah blah. It's in that style too, where they keep, they'll show you like a scene of something, and they have this scientist talk about it. You know what I'm talking about? Like
yeah, instead of a reenactment, it's like a reenactment of the future.
Yes, dude, it's fucking bizarre, man. And I'm just sitting here watching it, going, that's what's about to happen, dude. That's what's about to
Dude, it's been on the table for years, and they've been buttering us up with all these, little releases.
All of a sudden, they're having hearings. They're talking about, used to, man, they acted like you were crazy if you talked about UFOs.
Bob Lazar goes on Joe Rogan and gets fucking huge. You know that guy, right? Bob Lazar?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of him?
He's the guy who... Area 51, who said he saw aliens and shit, and
he was trying to do the reverse engineering, and at one point they took him through a certain wing where there was actually aliens. Yeah, he sounds as crazy as that Phil Schneider guy that was talking about the Denver International Airport, like fucking levels below where they had all the grays and shit.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of believe him. I mean, it might not have been actual aliens, but it could have been something human, like they were fucking experimenting on that looked like an alien. You know what I'm saying? Because they've been experimenting on humans or something.
Dude, even if Bob Lazar is full of shit, probably 3/4 of what he's saying is 100% true, just like QAnon.
Dude, tell me that the government would not be capable of something like this. Say that there was a fucking alien crash. Tell me say there was like DNA from the alien inside the thing, but the alien was dead. You can't tell me they wouldn't try to like clone it or something. You know what I'm saying? They've been cloning sheep for a while, dude. For a while.
And dinosaurs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's coming. We're gonna have Jurassic World. That's it. I never liked those movies. I thought they were fucking retarded, but
the book was good. The first one.
But yeah, it's just like, really, I mean, it's possible if you can clone things. Technically, it's possible. I mean,
it's like the aliens that invaded us in the 40s. Their fucking teenage son was fucking his girlfriend in the backseat and came all over and pulled out. So that's where we're getting all this fucking DNA. Some fucking dumbass teenage alien. But honestly, there's something coming. With the alien stuff, they're just plugging it way too hard for it not to be.
I can see it now. Coming to you live from Washington, D.C., we have what appears to be alien spacecraft that have appeared over the White House and the Capitol building and the Pentagon. I'm not sure exactly what is going on. As we speak, there appears to be some type of envoy making its way down towards the White House lawn in what appears to be a spaceship.
And then Will Smith fucking punches Chris Rock in the face. Because they're just like MSNBC will get caught showing footage of Independence Day. Because you remember, Will Smith decks out an alien in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
He was just practicing for his big Oscars night.
Oh, dude, have you heard that the recent thing? He said that he was tripping on ayahuasca and he had a vision that his career would be destroyed right before the Oscar slap.
No, but I have heard how he like got quite into psychedelics when him and Jada split up. So I didn't hear that. So that's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, you know?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Like the fucking ayahuasca turned on him and planted this seed in his head, and then he sabotaged his own career.
Yeah, true. But you know what, man? I don't understand it. It didn't look real to me. It didn't. I know they say it's real, and I know he got punished and all this shit, but it just didn't look real to me. I almost wonder if he wanted to just step away, and that was his way of doing it.
Oh, or if they've got some dirt on both him and Chris Rock, because I definitely think they got dirt on Chris Rock. He was fucking touring with what's his name, Cuomo, during COVID.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think he necessarily had to choose it. I think they were like, this is what you're going to do. If they would have said no, Will Smith would have been hanging from a fucking doorknob, you know?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Or either like some scandal, like with the Elon Musk thing. Have you seen that?
Dude, you turn on the left, or when the left turns on you, the first thing they do is throw an allegation at you. And hey, maybe it's true. Maybe they've been sitting on it. But yeah, very convenient fucking timing.
Oh, no. And it's funny because he sent out a tweet like right before that, like a couple days before that. It's like any attacks you see or something like that are going to be political, or I'm going to be attacked a lot over the next few weeks or something. And I'll be damned. A couple days later, it's like Elon Musk accused of exposing himself to SpaceX stewardess.
Is that what it was?
What was he like?
He pulled a CK?
That's what they said. That's what it said. So apparently he showed his dick in zero gravity. He was like, look, my penis floats. Check it out. My penis floats. Look, my balls are floating too. Could you turn off that gravity?
What do you get when you cross 2000 Space Odyssey with fucking Louis CK? You get fucking Elon Musk making his wiener float. Dude, I didn't even read it. I didn't want to give it any credence. That's really what it is. You could do the helicopter in slow motion.
Oh, dude, there may or may not have been an instance at a party when I was like a senior in high school where I did the helicopter in front of like a whole bunch of people when I was really, really drunk.
Hits it, dude. Some bitches are gonna come forward.
Oh no, they're gonna be like, that guy showed his penis to everybody.
You just got ahead
crazy, and he slept with like two of us that same night. What a jerk!
He didn't even come on my tits.
I was 17. I was wild, dude. Wild. There was girls pulling their tits out. People were it was one of those parties, dude. Everybody was crazy, man. Oh my God. People were fucking in like the closets. People were like climbing up on top of the roof. We were like in this apartment complex, and it was like on the second floor, and you could get like, they had like these fire escape deals, and you could climb up and go up on like to the roof. People were climbing up there, jumping off and just doing crazy shit, dude. It was one of the wildest parties. I was like 16 or 17, first real wild party I'd ever been to. It was fucking insane.
And Dusty's like, the only way you can top people jumping off the roof is to fucking take your dick out.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I wasn't the only dick that was out, so it was.
Hey, but were you the first?
I may have been the first
trendsetter
to do the helicopter. But you know what? It wasn't even like it was this giant cock or anything, but it was still impressive because I can make it happen. You know what I'm saying?
I've never been able to get the motion down. I could do like a fucking jackhammer, but not a helicopter.
Oh, dude, I can do the swing.
The pendulum?
You do the swing? Yeah, the pendulum, the cock pendulum. I can do that.
I mean, do you get in like push up formation to do that, or you do it standing?
Oh
up?
no, it's like bending at the hips, bro. You gotta.
Oh, like,
maybe do the arms up like that and rock back and forth.
Pretend you got a hula hoop on.
your topics. What did you want to talk about?
I'll read this article I've got. Do a little screen share, meow.
Screen share, meow.
Before I get into this, I want to show everybody. Dusty already knows this, but I raw dogged a gay monkey a couple days ago. And I woke up and this is my dick right here.
You have a weird shaped dick. By the way.
I also have a weird genetic condition where my dick is shaped like a hand. I should have led with that. But that was a May 25th fool's joke. That's not really my dick.
It could be your hand after you jerked off.
But it is a nice segue into this next story. So,
Can I announce this next story real quick?
please.
Ladies and gentlemen, beware. Sent back from the future to take out the homosexual population, one monkeypox at a time. Go ahead.
Dude, since you worded it like that, I'm glad you did because I didn't remember this, but they're saying this thing is more common in men who have sex with men. Instead of just saying gay men, because of the whole, have to be whatever the fuck when it comes to identity and sexuality. Men who have sex with other men, regardless of whether it's a trans man having sex with a trans woman. Anyway.
Or jock pussy.
a little revisit of last week's. This new phenomena isn't new, by the way. This thing's been around predominantly in Africa. And it's just like everything else we've been talking about today, man. These little tabletop drills that they do. And it was only a year ago that they did one on monkeypox. Like I usually do, I kind of just sorted through a bunch of articles, and this one is the most snarky that I could find.
It's almost a year to date, dude. That's fucking crazy. It is a year to date.
Well, this is the day that this was published this year.
Right, and the
article.
monkeypox shit popped up about 5 or 6 days ago, right?
Well, yeah, so that is the thing.
That's so creepy, though.
Yeah, the reason I picked this article is because whoever fucking wrote it is Michael Singer. He's very snarky, and that's the mood I was in when I was fucking researching this fucking tabletop drill, so I just went with it. I haven't heard of the Brownstone Institute. I don't know if you have, but that's who wrote this article.
The Brownstone.
Elite media outlets around the world are on red alert over the world's first ever global outbreak of monkeypox in mid-May 2022, just 1 year after an international biosecurity conference in Munich held a simulation of a global pandemic involving an unusual strain of monkeypox beginning in mid-May 2022. So look at this thing, or this is a picture from that tabletop drill. The discussion was organized into 3 sequential moves, corresponding with scenario developments, followed by a roundtable discussion of broad biosecurity and pandemic preparedness issues. The step-by-step approach to revealing scenario developments reflected the limitations of information available to real-world decision makers, as well as the resulting uncertainty associated with pandemic of unknown origin. Sounds a little familiar, eh? So here's the way they've got it drawn out. May 15th, 2022. Scenario, monkeypox outbreak in Brinia. I don't know where that is. 1421 cases / 4 deaths. No international warnings or advisories. The key issues are international alert and warning systems, benefits of and need for early risk assessment. So I just want to point this out. In their scenario, it starts May 15th, 2022. They have 1,400 cases and 4 deaths. Right now, in real life, it's like a 90 worldwide. 90. And they're making this huge fucking deal out of it. So they're not quite reaching these numbers that they did in the tabletop simulation. So then we go forward about 7 months in January 10th of 2023. Scenario, 83 countries affected, 7 million cases, 1.3 million deaths. Monkeypox engineered to be vaccine resistant. National response effects of early action. International supply chain challenges. Ooh. So the key issues there were the benefits of predetermined triggers for a national response. Everything they're focusing on isn't even the disease, it's the response to it. International supply chain challenges. Reiterated twice there. So then we go forward a whole year later, May 10th of 2023, scenario 480 million cases, 27 million deaths. Revelation of terror group origins. Terror group. Infiltration of civilian biolab. The issues are biosecurity and governance of dual-use bioscience research. So, of December of 2023, 3.2 billion cases, 271 million deaths. Global differences in national responses contribute significantly variable outcomes. So it's vaccine resistant, first of all. That's something to note because earlier in the week, Biden was making statements about, let's just see if we can find a vaccine that works on this thing. Maybe the smallpox vaccine will work on it. So we'll probably eventually in real life find out that there's nothing that's going to help this thing. They're probably going to have to make their own vaccine for it. Maybe an mRNA one. Call me crazy. All right, so the rest of this article. Monkeypox was first identified in 1958, but there's never been a global monkeypox outbreak outside of Africa until now. In the exact week of the exact month predicted by biosecurity folks in their pandemic simulation. Take these guys to Vegas. Ed Yong, who's penned dozens of hysterical articles on COVID for The Atlantic, including such gems as COVID-19 long haulers are fighting for their future. Even healthcare workers with long COVID are being dismissed. How did this many deaths become normal? And the final pandemic betrayal is hot on the scene of the new monkeypox outbreak. You must have something to say. I see you fucking with your mic. No?
No, I'm just like, dude, God damn, it's fucking freaky how it can be like pinpointed to the exact like week. I mean, really?
They're getting really good at these. You remember SPARS 2025 to 2028? It was a simulation that John Hopkins ran. We did an episode on Conspiracy Playtime about it. They thought COVID was going to happen in 2025. They were way off. And they called it SPARS-CoV instead of SARS-CoV-2. I mean, they were pretty fucking close. But anyway, and of course, we all know about Event 201. And yeah. Dude, what was the one that it was like right before you and I first recorded? You did a podcast with Lux and he read some fucking drill that they ran. What was that one called?
Oh, dude, I'd have to go back.
But you remember it pretty much called all of it. It was all about fucking COVID. And like the SPARS one was more about the vaccine. It was about the
talking about. Yeah.
But yeah, so we should go back to that episode at some point because it really does fit into all this. So, I mean, I won't go too much more into it, but you guys can go find this article on Brownstone.
It's like they want it to happen.
Here's the thing I could never figure out. Why do it so publicly? Dexter. Hey.
I don't know. It's a good question.
Like, you could easily do this simulation and not broadcast it for the world to see. You don't have to fucking do this out in the open.
I think they like to set people up for it, though. I think that's what it is. I think it's more like preparing, like trying to like get a stir and get people to. I think fear brings things like this on. I think if you can convince people that something bad's going to happen, they almost get it in their heads. Like, dude, how many people you think got COVID because all they did was worry about getting COVID?
Because,
you know what I mean? Like,
or because every goddamn symptom of anything under the sun was a symptom of COVID. Yeah, and a PCR test could be set off by anything. There's the theory that a lot of occultists have and hardcore conspiracy theorists about how there's like a karmic system that these elitists follow, that if they pull something off, they first have to tell us about it. and give us a chance to stop it. And
Yeah.
when we don't, their karmic slate is clean or some
Lux
shit.
talked about that, dude. He talked about that in that fucking episode, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and Missy talks about it all the time. Sam Tripoli always talks about it too. Yeah.
Oh, if these societies existed, back in the day, they exist today. Period. You know what I'm saying? Like these black magic, dark, evil fucking groups that believe that like some type of mass sacrifice will bring in like the heavens or some crazy shit like that. If those people existed back in the day, they exist today. You know what? Before we go, I want to just glance at the news and see what's happened in the last little bit. Let's see if there's anything new breaking, like death, more children, or that was too soon. It really was.
Well, fuck.
Horrible.
It's always too soon whenever it happens.
I know, dude. You know what cracks me up is it don't crack me up. It really bothers me how they use it. They use the death of these kids for their own political agenda, man. And that makes me leery of it because like it's an election year and this shit seems to only happen during an election year. Like, I know it sounds crazy, but 2020 was one of the fucking most insane years in the history of fucking I can remember. And 2016 was fucking insane, if you recall. And I believe this shit's done on purpose, bro. I'm telling you, we're going to be rioting by the middle of the summer. Mark my word. There'll be riots in the fucking streets by the middle of the summer.
I'm gonna riot tomorrow.
You should.
So, did you have anything else to say about that tabletop simulation?
No, it's just fucking trippy, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's fucking accurate. Maybe not fully accurate, probably like the COVID thing, but I believe they might try to use the shit to lock us all down again. And everybody
the timing of us handing over our sovereignty to the WHO, which we discussed at the end of last week's episode. The timing
that
of
is
that,
bizarre, dude.
How
did that vote go? Wasn't that supposed to have taken place already?
Yeah, it was 4 days from when we recorded, and I never saw anything about
I Googled it, and I haven't seen nothing about it. And I couldn't find anything about it.
That means it went through.
Of course.
I'm just going to assume, because you know how they say there's only like 195 countries in the world? There's like closer to 300 national territories. To be a country, you have to be willing to fucking vote on shit like this. So I'm just assuming it went through. You know?
Hungary announces state of danger over war in Ukraine. Let's see. Canadian National Security Task Force is preparing for the collapse of the United States.
Say that again.
This is the headline. Canadian National Security Task Force is preparing for the collapse of the United States. That's an actual fucking headline.
What's the publication?
Raw story.
Can you share that?
Yeah, I'll pop it up. Oh, I can't share it because I got it pulled on my fucking computer.
That's
but
all
I
right.
can read it. Let's see. While the United States appears to hold true to the ideals of democracy, Freedom House, an international group that promotes global democracy, has warned that the country is backsliding. Its democratic institutions have suffered erosion as reflected in partisan pressure on the electoral process, bias and dysfunction in the criminal justice system, harmful policies on immigration and asylum seekers, and growing disparities in wealth, economic opportunity, and political influence, the site said. Watchdog Group said the U.S. slipped 11 points in the past 10 years. The U.S. is now ranked below Argentina and Mongolia. Holy crap. We're ranked below Argentina and fucking Mongolia?
Hey, don't talk shit. They got great barbecue.
According to the Canadian Broadcast Corporation, the CBC, the government to the north is fearful of what that might mean for them. Former national security advisors and director of the Center of Strategic and International Studies warned Canada that the U.S. could become a source of threat and instability in the coming years. Holy fuck. What? Dude. Writing for the CBC, Catherine Tunney cited those experts pondering a reconsideration of the alliance with the U.S., citing things like Fox News, Tucker Carlson, Donald Trump's attempt to overthrow the government, and January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. They have a growing list of anti-democratic warnings. Their data gathering comes from top secret information and brief cabinet on emerging threats. It warns that Canada has been complacent and warned it's time to tackle things like Russia and Chinese espionage. What the fuck? The United States is and will remain our closest ally, but it could also become a source of threat and instability, the report says. The Democratic backsliding in the United States. Oh, my fucking phone just died. Fuck.
Why can I still hear you? I grant you permission to enter.
Dude, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna leave the video off. That might make it easier. But dude, did you that fucking article, man? What the fuck?
I have 2 sentences to say. First, they're totally correct. Second, go fuck yourselves. This is the kettle calling the pot black. You know? Calling us communists, you motherfucker.
The main point for Canada to pivot has to do with the U.S. While Canada has its own extremist groups, according to intelligence reports, they are coordinating with the United States. There are growing transitional ties between right-wing extremists here and in the U.S. The movement of funds, the movement of people,
Trucker convoy.
the encouragement, the support by media. Oh, that's another thing, dude. They said that today, and they're about to bring this up. The trucker convoy was a big wake-up call, he said. The small minority of angry truckers furious over the Canadian vaccine mandate resulted in a standoff on the streets of Ottawa. Approximately 90% of truckers were vaccinated, but those under 10% were infuriated by the mandate. They sat in the streets, blocking residents from work and home. They honked until all hours of the night. American anti-vaccine activists have adopted a similar protest, but their endeavors have been less successful.
They tried to rape AOC.
Whatever, we have gotten our fucking mandates removed, motherfuckers.
Anything that's like a fight for freedom, they call alt-right. I love it.
Yes, have you noticed that's like the new thing?
I'm alt-right.
If you love freedom, you're alt-right. You're a fucking Nazi extremist.
Dude, I don't like not being able to see you. I feel lonely.
I know.
What are you scared of? It's going to cut into the connection?
Yeah, I figure it might fuck it up. We'll try it though. Fuck it.
So, I did have one more topic, but if we
go ahead,
we could finish talking about this because it's fucking interesting that's the first article that you just like. What did you search to have that come up?
I just pulled up the news. That was the first thing that popped up.
So that's like a brand spanking new article.
Yeah, the whole thing is them blaming like Trump and stuff. Like it says, it certainly would not be couched in a way of you're the source of our problem. That would not be the conversation. The conversation would be, how can we help each other? He said, we had those conversations during President Trump's tenure and business continues. Does it become a little bit more challenging when you have a president like Mr. Trump? Absolutely, without a doubt. But we are still close allies. Rigby and Wawa are hopeful that the report will launch a new strategy moving forward. I know there's a certain cynicism around producing these strategies. Another bulky report that's going to end up on a shelf and gather dust, said Rigby. But if they're done properly, they're done fast and they're done efficiently and effectively. And our allies have done them. They can work and they're important. They're talking about arresting people, dude. They're talking about arresting fucking people for thought crimes and fucking speaking out against the government. That's exactly what they're fucking talking about. They're talking about like freezing your assets and shit like that. Like the shit they pulled. Holy fuck.
We're not too fucking different.
So we know if like World War or if like Civil War broke out in the United States between the right and the left, which I believe is already a cold Civil War anyways. So now we know Canada will back the fucking leftists. We know that.
Of course they will.
At least the government will. I don't know about the people.
I mean, they're way further left than we are.
It's fucking insane because I'm not going to back either one of them. I'm going to kill them both.
Yeah, just fucking arm yourself to the tits and just stand on your porch and shoot whoever comes your way.
All these wealthy Republicans and all these guns and stuff, they're the first people I'm going to hit.
Taking their arsenal.
Yeah, taking their food, their arsenal, everything. Because they might think they know how to use them. They don't.
I'm going for the Mormons. They got all the food. And I know a few. Just to finish off with your thing, Canada, hey, fuck you, buddy.
Right? Fuck you and your white horse you rode in on. Apparently, anything that's freedom is a threat to you. Suck my dick. You don't believe in freedom anymore? What in the fuck is going on in Canada, for Christ's sake? To where you're saying that the United States is going to fall because of anti-democracy? Get the fuck out of here. The entire regime that is sitting there in Washington, D.C. right now is the most anti-democratic fucking politicians on the fucking planet. Many of them have been there for fucking decades. That's not democratic, assholes. That's a whole nother fucking thing. That's Nazi type shit. That's communist shit. People who sit in power for that long, that's ridiculous, and it shouldn't be happening. They are the threats, not the American people that are demanding their freedom, not the Canadians that are demanding that you don't force them to take an experimental fucking vaccine that they don't want to fucking take, that you don't even know works because it doesn't work. You can't force something that doesn't work on people. So you know what? If you don't like freedom, Canada, you can suck my freedom dick.
Your freedom dick. I have a slavery dick.
Poor dicks in chains, huh?
All right, so the thing I wanted to talk about, and I don't have an article or anything. I did try to pull up some stuff, but there's just so much to choose from, and I figured we could just bullshit about it. But what's your whole opinion on this meeting that they have every year in Davos, Switzerland, with the World Economic Forum invite only, elitist, planning on what the future holds for the rest of us? What's your opinion on all that?
Well, I think it's fucking terrifying, for one, because they say enough bad things about it. You hear bad shit about it all the time. And the fact that they're holding these fucking meetings, they're detaining reporters so they can't see what's going on.
What do you mean?
Dude, if you didn't see that on Twitter, they detain reporters in like American reporters. The Swiss police did and wouldn't tell them why. Told them they could not film. They had to turn off their
so
equipment.
they were trying to like get in there.
I guess. I don't know.
No,
I know
dude,
they were trying to film.
They shut that shit down. It's like a fortress. So if they that doesn't surprise me that if they were trying to get in there to cover it without an invite, yeah, they're gonna do that.
Yeah, dude. It's
I'll have to
fucking
look
crazy,
into that.
man.
Though.
That's scary.
When did that happen?
Recently, like a couple days ago.
Huh.
It's on Twitter. It's all over fucking Twitter. I'm sure I've shared something about it or commented or something. They're like, everybody's like, so why are American reporters being detained by Swiss police and shit without any provocation? And they won't tell them why. And it shows them like sitting there and they're like, you can't video. He's like, why can't I video? He's like, because it's a law. And he's like, well, it's freedom. You cannot video. And he makes him turn his fucking phone off and shit. It's really fucking crazy, dude. So, yeah, we're living in a police state. The whole world is in a police state right now. I believe that. The whole world's in a police state. Maybe certain places aren't. I'm in Alabama. I'm lucky because it hadn't been. I think like if you're in Alabama, Florida, Texas, places like that, I think that they might try to start like attacking us because they want police states here. They want the government to like lock down on something, but the government's going to fight them. That's the only thing we got going for us is these fucking people think they're fighting for freedom, these governors, but all they're doing is they hate the Democrats and they're just fighting against, you know what I'm saying? Like that. It's not because they care about the people or freedom. They're only doing the opposite of what the Democrats do because that's the popular thing to do. That's what's going to get them reelected. You know damn well they took the vaccine, all of them, and they all recommended we take the vaccine, every fucking one of them. So while they weren't mandating it, they were damn sure pushing it. You know what I'm saying?
You're talking about Republicans?
Yes. Alabama Republicans, you know, they didn't mandate it, but they damn sure pushed it.
I really want to know, like, were they really taking the shot? politicians?
I don't know, man. There's been some strokes happening here lately. Have you heard about that? Like some politicians having strokes. They're saying it could be because of the vaccine.
Which politicians now?
I'll have to look it up, man. I just saw a brief little mention of it. It's like the second one or something like that. Chris Van Hollen, Democratic senator, suffers minor stroke.
To quote Sam Tripoli, I don't see any vaccine injuries. What are you guys talking about?
Yeah, I mean, like, we hear about them and stuff, but I mean, like, are those really happening?
I'll fight you for charity.
I'll fight you for charity.
You want to talk about a course correction? After all the bullshit Sam's been getting for like going toe to toe with Owen, what's his name?
Owen Benjamin.
Yeah. Did you see who he just had on?
Mm-mm.
Sam Hyde. You know Sam Hyde?
I've heard that name. I'm sure I've heard him before.
Sam Hyde got kicked off of Adult Swim for fucking being anti-Semitic because he had a music video called Jews Rock. Isn't that a good thing? So I've been talking with a guy on Conspiracy Playtime. We had a really good conversation on the phone, and he's going to come on eventually. But he told me to look into this guy. He's like, dude, Sam Hyde is the best stand-up comedian ever. And he's like, and I know that you're going to say George Carlin, Bill Hicks, Louis C.K. And I was like, yeah, that was exactly my order, too. So I looked into him, and he's not really a stand-up comedian. He's more of like I don't know. He's more like Andy Kaufman. He does these big projects, these long, drawn-out things that he doesn't really go on stage. But anyway, Sam had him on, and wow. I think he's really trying to win back the hearts and minds of the true conspiratorial people.
Really? That's good.
Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to say about Davos, why are we okay with this? Well, who fucking elected? Well, that's the funny thing. Our elected officials are going over there and bowing down to the fucking globalists. These are the people we elect to protect our interests and to fucking represent us. They're going.
But did we really elect them?
I didn't. You fucking did.
I mean, I didn't elect them.
I'm kidding, Dusty. Shit.
I voted for libertarians who never.
There's no libertarians in Davos. That should be a bumper sticker. There's no libertarians in Davos. Wow, wow, wow. I have a real problem with elitist fucking scumfucks openly convening in a fortress, and they get on stage, and all these motherfuckers have German accents. I had to hear fucking Klaus Schwab talk to the Pfizer CEO about how he's being bullied by conspiracy theorists. That's a real video that just came out, and I'm like, oh my God, man. Poor fucking baby.
I know, right? Poor kid. That
was
poor guy.
Like a few weeks ago when Bill Gates was like,
it's going to be really unfortunate if people don't take the vaccine because they think illy of me.
okay. Well, that's your problem.
He's a total loser.
And he's over there right now, making speeches. And it's like the TED Talks of the elites. That's what Davos is. Anybody who wants to see this shit, it's fucking crazy. Go to YouTube, or I don't even think it's on YouTube, but you could find this video. It's View from the Capitol, Davos, and it's a bunch of fucking senators getting interviewed by this fucking British chick. And she's talking about Ukraine. And she makes every single one of them say that they're totally in support of doing another package post 40 billion.
Jesus.
It's like when you go around and you just like make sure, yeah, you're on board. But anyway, so she was like, so even if this war goes on forever, you're going to keep supporting it, right?
Right. Yes, they are.
And they all pretty much said so.
Of course.
And Davos 2022.
Dude, I wouldn't be surprised if they weren't planning every fucking thing in their power to make it more fucking miserable on the regular people. Because the more miserable it is on the regular people, the more they're gonna look to the government. And that's what I think they want. I think they want the people reliant on the government, plain and simple.
Well, did you just see what Joe Biden said? You know how it was like Putin's price hike?
Yeah.
the new spin is this. Come on, man. I know it's gonna hurt in the short term, but we're all gonna be better off in the long run. We're getting off fossil fuels, so it's gonna be painful for a little while.
Yes, I saw that.
The fuck? Like, dude.
So it's like saying the gas prices are intentional.
It's
like my son was asking me today. We were talking about he's got a job now, he's got a car, and he's got to go to work. We were talking about his first paycheck, he need to put gas in his car and make sure he can make it to work throughout the week and be able to ride around with his friends and stuff like that.
And he's like, Dad, can I have Arby's?
Yeah. And I was like, you figure that out, and then whatever you have left over, that's what you save. And eventually you'll have enough money saved to where you'll be able to goof off and do what you want after a few weeks. And we were talking about gas. He's like, why is gas so high, Dad? He said, I remember it like 2 years ago being like $1.50 and you talking about it. And I was like, son, I don't know, but I know that one thing, that it is Biden's fault 100%, because from the minute that dude took office and signed that fucking executive order canceling that Keystone pipeline and then making a deal with Russia, that we see what's happened there. Like, he knew that shit was going to fucking happen. Why would you even sign a deal with Russia for a pipeline? What the fuck are you thinking? All right. They cancel that one. Gas prices go up. The Russian one gets canceled. Gas prices go up. This Ukraine-Russia war shit happens. It goes up real high. Then they announced last week, I think it was last week or maybe the week before, that he signed the executive order canceling any new contracts for any type of pipelines inside the United States. Any type of drilling or anything.
Yeah.
And then prices went right on up. This shit's intentional, dude. This shit is intentional.
Well, how about where they just brought in 70,000 pounds of baby formula from Europe?
Oh, I know.
And they bragged about it.
Oh, I know. Dude, it never should have got there in the first place.
Well, no, here's the funny thing is we're in a year and a half, 2 years into this administration, and now they're telling us, you're lucky that we're able to fucking rely on Europe to fucking feed the infants of the United States. Thank you. This is what we're giving you. Thank you. And they even said 70,000 tons. The fucking White House and someone called them on that. They fucking tried to 2,000% lie, 2,000% increase about what they really brought in. And then, God, you could just go on forever about all this shit. But there was one other thing related to that. Oh, so instead of saying a week's supply, which is what 70,000 pounds is,
yeah,
they say 70,000 pounds. That sounds like a lot more than a week's supply. That's what that is,
dude.
So anyway, that's where we're at with that shit. Davos, baby formula shortage. Try to come back on camera so we could do our little 60-second rant.
All right,
for that.
Let
me get my timer out. Tell me when to start, and I'll go.
All right, 1, 2, 3, start. What am I going to rant about today? What I want to rant about is government control. Government control is what's happening with this World Economic Forum. It's what the government wants. It's what their plan is. It's what COVID was about. It's what the Ukraine-Russia war is about. The entire thing is all about government control. We could tell from that article we just read about Canada preparing for the United States to fall. And it's all because people want freedom. That's it. Now freedom people are bad. If you want to love your country, you're now a terrorist, which makes me think about, the Iraqi freedom fighters that they labeled as terrorists. All they wanted was us out of their country. And it's happening here. They're turning people who want freedom into terrorists, and the government wants control. And the only way they can get to control is by demonizing these people and removing them from society. So be prepared, folks, because they will start coming after you.
Yeah.
Yes, they will.
I concur. All right. Today I am going to rant about everyone's favorite fucking retarded South African savior, Elon Musk. And let's talk about Twitter for a second, because you were all so ready to suck his fucking cock and balls however many weeks ago that was when he announced he was buying Twitter. And now he went from saying that he was going to, he didn't have a price on free speech. So he fucking really bought Twitter at a price that was way more than it was worth. All of a sudden, he's noticed that there's a lot of fake bots on Twitter. Really, you fucking douchebag? Because Dusty and I were talking about this on episode 20 of Conspiracy Playtime. It's all bots. And so now you're going to pull back. You're going to renegotiate. I think you're fucking bullshitting from the get-go, dude. And Elon Musk, I'm going to say it right here. We'll see if I'm right or not. Elon Musk is not going to buy Twitter. He's going to pull out like the little bitch that he is. And that's a minute.
Yeah, he's not going to buy Twitter. I don't think so. I saw something today about him. He released a thing saying he was going to offer more cash, more of his own cash, but he was looking for people to throw money in.
Really?
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself, Elon. That's
so
bullshit.
maybe he might get it crowdfunded. Like maybe he might throw in 30 mil or 30 mil. That's like fucking pocket change. I bet he cleans that out of his laundry.
Stock. Yeah.
Yeah. So I bet he cleans that out of his laundry when he's fucking 30 million out of his laundry. But yeah, 30 billion probably be his cash, Tesla stock cashed out. And then fucking he'll get like the rest from like people. Like, see, that would be dope though.
Why does that matter? Yeah, I'm not giving Elon any of my money to buy Twitter. He's already fucking getting cold feet because there's bots. No shit.
Yeah.
Why is that surprising?
If you didn't know there were bots, you would.
Dude, he's been on Twitter. He's been the fucking Trump Twitter troll replacement since he got kicked off. Like, that's all he does. Dude, the guy runs all these multi-billion corporations and tells Joe Rogan he never sleeps. The motherfucker tweets 3,000 times a day. You telling me he's really running all this shit and tweeting?
Well, at this point, he's probably not running anything.
He never has been.
Yeah, he's probably got people that run it for
him.
Dude,
he went in and bought companies that already had started and then told everybody that he fucking started them. The guy's a fraud.
No, I know. Hey, we gotta get your homeboy on here,
dude,
man.
So I've been texting him back and forth. He proposed to his girlfriend, by the way. Big news.
Oh, how sweet. That's dope.
It is. They've been together, and it was their 10th year anniversary. She just watched her sister get married. I was like, yeah, man, shit her get off the pot. Now she's gonna want a fucking baby. You don't have to come on her tits anymore.
Marriage changes everything too, bro. Like you can live with someone for 20 years, but you get married and certain things change. I don't know what it is. I'm serious. That's real.
Why? Because the government's involved all of a sudden?
I don't know. I've literally seen
How long were you with your wife before you guys were married?
For a year and a half.
Did you guys live together?
Yes, we lived together for about 6 months, probably. No, we lived together for about a year. Yeah, we lived together for a year. We dated for about 6 months, lived together about a year, and got married.
That's you know.
Yippers. And we had 2 kids almost back to back. And then we waited 10 years and had another one. Boop, boop, boop.
And now Dusty has birthed the Disinfobation podcast out his dick hole.
That's right. It came right out my dick hole. It shot out.
It's his 4th baby. I'm along for the ride.
That's right. I disinfobated my brains out, my friend.
He didn't even tell me to close my eyes either. And
that's right. Everywhere.
Blinded by the light.
Everywhere. That's right. All right, man. Let's wrap this bad boy up.
Dusty, tell us where we can find you.
You can find me at UTruthCast on Twitter. You can find me at Disinfobation on Twitter. You can find Disinfobation on TikTok. You can find Disinfo. We're going to put clips there also. We're going to, so just send me those clips that you put on YouTube and I'll put them on, if I have to break them up, like, you know what I'm saying? Like put like a 3 minute. We'll do what we got to do. Put those on TikTok. We got Instagram at Disinfobation. Since it's such a strange name, I had no problem getting the name. So you can find us at Disinfobation. That's right. Make up words. You got it, baby. All right. Yes, you can find us at all those places. Tune in. We're also on Spotify. Are we on Google yet? Apple yet?
Google, I got an email from Google yesterday.
Sweet balls.
Apple, as far as Apple goes, have you had any luck with that? Because I cannot.
I'll try. I'll get on Anchor.
Have you logged on to Anchor?
Not yet. I will.
Okay. Well, let me know because I'll try again if you can't do it. It's my computer will not let me sign on. as disinfobation. I can't fucking figure that out.
That is so weird.
Anyway, I interrupted you. I'll cut that part out. Keep going with your.
That's all right. Yeah, just find us, man. Y'all listen to us. We're trying to make this podcast grow, baby. Make it grow. We're trying to get the information out to y'all. You know what I'm saying, yo? I like to rap. I can do some freestyle rap on the next episode. I'll save that for next episode.
There's gonna be that fat beat playing that I play us out with, so it's good.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So next episode I'll do some freestyle rap. Remind me of that.
I will.
All right, guys. Oh yeah, I never did read my poem. on the podcast.
Do you want to do that now?
I'm gonna do that right now. Real quick to sign us off. This won't take long. It's a short poem, but it must be read. The Fall by Dusty. As I sit here and ponder the world in its state, I question the propaganda and all the clickbait. The constant fighting and bickering all around the world has nothing to do with the people. It's the governments that want war. This decades-old fight by the dawn's early light, I'm surprised our flag is still there, although I think many do not care. We have stood by allowing tyranny to reign, while ever so quickly our freedoms have gone swiftly down the drain. With an iron fist, they lock everyone down for a virus that might not actually exist with mandated vaccines. Oh, but wait, there's a twist. If we speak out, we're instantly labeled terrorist or insane conspiracy theorist, when in reality, all we want to do is live our lives and coexist. Never mind the antics or insane shit they've put us through. We're literally watching the fall of the red, white, and blue. Now, as we watch the gas prices go high, we can't fill our tanks, while babies like formula and interest rates rise at the banks. As Russia threatens nuclear destruction for anyone that interferes, we send billions to Ukraine, which truly feels like our government is gone fucking insane. With Dementia Joe at the helm, we're surely doomed. I'm constantly waiting on Putin's big boom. With every streak in the sky, for a moment I'm convinced it's our time to die. But as I wrap up this poem that I wrote, please remember the election was stolen and the Biden administration is a motherfucking joke.
Boom! Mic drop. Trump would have sucked too, but he's right about the election being stolen.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. Dude, beautiful. I'm Colby. You can find me at Conspiracy Player -the E on Twitter. And conspiracyplaydime.com is my other podcast I do with Jeremiah. And Dusty's going to join us to take down Elon Musk on our next episode.
That's right.
That'll be good. So, we will convene next Wednesday, and until then, rock out with your tits out.
As always, ladies and gentlemen, fuck Spotify.
Right in the titties.
We're out.